From the podcast studio of WTAP Plus comes your source for sports, WTAP Sports Frenzy with host Griffin Albright.
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to WTAP Sports Frenzy. It is our fourth episode and another very special one today. We've got the newest member of the WTAP team with us. He is our newest sports anchor, newest addition to the sports room. Here he is, Jermaine Kelly. Jermaine, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, man. I'm super excited to be here.
Of course, yeah, glad to have you. So, Jermaine, let's just start with you introducing yourself. Tell us a little bit about you, where you're from, what got you into this, favorite sports teams, maybe, things like that.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Shreveport, Louisiana. I went to school in southern Louisiana at southeastern Louisiana. What got me into this? I played sports my entire life, baseball, football, and basketball. But once that was over with, I wanted to find a way to still, be around the game and be included somehow, So I got into sports reporting and sports announcing. So that was a good way to still be around the game and, hang around with some of the players and, just give my input and my thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Growing up, man, just talking about playing sports, what kind of sports did you play? What sports were you into? Just playing. What did you grow up playing?
So growing up, I played, like I said, football, basketball, baseball. Once I got into high school, it was strictly baseball. I played left field a lot, and around my junior and senior year, when I moved to first base. So, yeah. Love that.
Yes, I played baseball too. We've talked about this a little bit, but I was a pitcher through college. So you were an outfielder. You hit. I wasn't about that life. I just like to pitch, and that was my thing. So, yeah, we can talk about more of the general sense of baseball now. We've got a lot of stuff coming up in the baseball world professionally. We've got the WBC. Yep. We've got pro baseball. Pitchers and catchers have reported. Spring training's coming up. So, man, what's got you excited for this baseball season coming up here?
Oh, man, I'm excited about the pitching that Team USA has. Over the years,
it's going to be good.
They've had a juggernaut of a lineup. Mm-hmm. But this year, it's like I feel like it's the pitching staff that can carry them. Paul Skeens, Tariq Skubal, and that bullpen with David Bednar, guys like Gavin Williams. So, Devin Williams, excuse me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They have me super excited.
The airbender. Yeah, no, he's nasty. It's going to be a really good staff, and that's maybe the biggest difference with this year's team. Last year, they had a great line, or not last year. The last time they went out and played and lost to Team Japan, they had a really good lineup, right? Trout, Betts, Trey Turner went crazy. But the pitching wasn't great, so maybe that's the difference this year, guys, is that pitching staff. You talked about Skeens and Skubal at the top. That'll be one of the nastiest rotations that we've ever seen, maybe.
Absolutely, and Team USA has got to be one of the favorites to win. But, we have seen over the last couple World Baseball Classics, talent is everywhere, especially in baseball. You're going to have that Team Japan. You're going to have a couple other big teams out there that are going to be challenging the USA. So it's going to be a very exciting event. I remember specifically one of my all-time favorite World Baseball Classic moments, and I think maybe if you guys remember, you guys were probably both kids as well. I might have been a teenager. I know I'm a couple years older than you guys. But Adam Jones in center field, home run robbing grab, the robbery. That's a memory that kind of sits in my head. So that always gets me excited this time of year. As you said, two pitchers and catchers reported for the MLB. I'm a Yankees fan, so shout out to anyone else in the Mid-Ohio Valley that's a Yankees fan. We're one of the best franchises ever, but we haven't won in a while, so I'm getting a little sick and tired over here. So it's about time the Steinbrenners, maybe turn this around a little bit, and Cashman and Aaron Boone figure it out.
It is about time.
Before some heads are on the chopping block.
They don't sit well with losing up there in New York.
My angry New Jersey, New York energy is coming out right now talking about the Bronx Bombers.
Yes, I love it. You guys, I know the Phillies, especially the fans, man, they get after their players. You'll hear the Boo Birds come in pretty quickly if they aren't winning, if they aren't up to snuff. So especially with you guys.
Especially the major cities, you always hear.
Right, yeah,
definitely.
You don't hear it in LA anymore, really, because the Dodgers just buy everyone at this point. So, and they don't really lose a ton. But, I lived in Boston for a year before I moved down to the Mid-Ohio Valley, and that season, the Red Sox were not very good, so a lot of Boo Birds came out during those games as well. Yankees fans get on there, players as well. Mets fans are like that as well. So a lot of the major cities, if you're not performing, the fans will tell you.
They'll let you know.
And that's one of the things I love about baseball. You don't hear it as much in a lot of other sports. Sometimes the NFL, I saw it with the Giants in the Joe Judge era, Pat Shermer eras, where they, are quarterback sneaking from their old goal line on 3rd and 8 from their own 2.
Embarrassing.
And the fans are booing them in the fourth quarter.
As they should.
As they should,
yes.
That's a valid thing to boo them for, and so it's interesting to see, but I'm excited for baseball season. It's going to be a great time.
It's been a while. It feels like it's been forever, but it's my favorite thing about winter turning into spring is that baseball season coming up. So you talked about it. You're a Yankees fan. I'm a Braves fan, and so we've got Jermaine over here.
Yeah.
Rangers fan, I believe. So, man, what's got you excited for the Rangers this year?
Yeah,
what are you looking
Texas
for?
Rangers from Louisiana.
Yeah.
Give us how that kind of came
Arlington.
together.
Yeah.
Well, Louisiana doesn't really have a professional sports team. So, I grew up in Shreveport, which is basically like right on the border of Texas.
Okay.
So, easy access to go to Rangers games.
You're giving me my geography lesson right now about Louisiana because I have never been there.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, yeah, Shreveport's literally at the very top of Louisiana, right next to Texas. So, those games were on TV when I was a kid on Fox Sports Southwest. And that was kind of when I learned that baseball was on like every single day. So I tuned in every single day. And that's how I became a Rangers fan, really. But, a couple years ago, we reached the mountaintop. That was sick. 2023, winning the World Series. But the past 2 years have been super disappointing, and I'm excited for this season because front office has really overhauled, this team. Couple disappointing seasons, so they shake it up. They trade away some fan favorites. Marcus Semien, Dolis is gone. Jonah Heim just signed a year Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, we did pick him up. Yeah,
that's a good signing. I didn't know that he went there, but I do like Jonah Heim. He's a good hitter.
Yeah,
so he's pretty solid defensively too.
Yeah, he was an All-Star a couple years ago for you guys, I believe.
I believe
he's had a down year
hitting. They won the World Series, and he was an All-Star.
He won
a Gold Glove as well.
I remember he raked in the first half of that season, so everyone was like, "Who is this guy?"
Yeah, a switch hitter. He's still, I think, a pretty good defender.
Yeah.
We've got problems with our catching unit. Sean Murphy, who we gave up a bunch of players for, is now hurt, and he's
strikeout or homer.
He's been more strikeout than homer. He's been struggling at the plate. So there's rumors that he's going to get traded, that maybe he doesn't play as much, and Drake Baldwin's our DH, and they platoon with him and Heim.
I was going to ask how come. Well, I guess platoon if you now have Heim, but why not Baldwin behind the plate? I know he's been.
He will be. Yeah.
I would say he's one of the hot prospects for you guys.
Well, we just let Ozuna go, Marcell Ozuna, to the Pirates actually. Yep.
That's a pretty good one for the Mid-Ohio Valley, Marcell Ozuna.
Yeah. Ozuna to the Pirates. It's a good signing. He had been falling off a little bit for us. But I think the thought behind that was that we wanted Baldwin to DH.
Right.
We can't take his bat out of the lineup, and we want him behind the plate as well. But we also want him in the DH spot, and he was just hitting better. He was probably our best hitter.
I would say I know that he struggled to start the year last year, and
he picked it up quick.
People were questioning him as if he really was this top prospect, and
he was.
That's
he figured it out.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say Murphy was getting more, ABs then because of that, and you guys obviously traded a lot for him. Then he picked it up down the stretch. Like you said, summertime kind of. It was almost like that switch kind of flipped with him, and he was, like you said, arguably your best hitter down the stretch. I know you guys didn't have your best season last year, where the Braves have also been on top recently, just like your Texas Rangers. More recently than my own team, and we have the most, so which is kind of shocking to think that I'm sitting with two people in the room that have had World Series championships more recently.
Before you, pretty wild.
But no, Drake Baldwin I think is going to be a big key to the Braves season, and I think Jonah Heim's a great ad, and I like that they might do that platoon, honestly. Now hearing about it and talking, I think I've just talked myself into it.
There you go. Yeah, I like that. You're convincing me, too, because I was skeptical at first as well. But that was the thought, is having Baldwin getting more ABs, getting the DH. The biggest thing for us was just health. We didn't stay healthy at all last year.
Definitely.
And we're already starting off with it this year. One of our aces, Spencer Swellenbach, is already hitting the IL. Legit the first day of pitchers and catchers reporting, bang, elbow, I think it was tightness or soreness, inflammation. 60-day IL to start the year.
As former
just
baseball
unbelievable.
Players, all of us here, where's the icy hot? Where's the Tiger Bomb?
Tiger Bomb.
Slather that on the arm. You'll feel better
do
in 15 minutes.
Run a couple of poles, get the blood flowing. You'll be fine. Come on. We don't want to hear about that. But, so, it's just, oh, my gosh. But let's move on now. We can start with college baseball, right? That's coming up this Friday. West Virginia is opening up against Georgia Southern. We just talked about it. Marshall opening up as well in Georgia, I believe. And so, I don't know if you're a big college baseball guy, Jermaine, but maybe who's your team if you do have one, and just in terms of maybe some World Series contenders this year? Who do you think will have some great years in the college baseball world?
It's going to seem like some hometown bias, but obviously I got to go with LSU, man. I grew up watching the Tigers, and Jay Johnson, he loses a lot of talent, but he can hit that portal, and in the high school ranks in recruiting, he does a great job. So I got LSU.
Absolutely, and we talked about LSU last year, what a team they had, and in that super regional, right? West Virginia goes to LSU to play them. Wasn't particularly close. Wasn't a great showing for the Mountaineers, but still awesome for the Mountaineers to get back to a super regional for the second year in a row. It's been a transcending program for the Mountaineers baseball team. It's been awesome to see. I don't know if you were there for any of those games. Just watching.
Unfortunately not.
No, but just watching that. I mean, LSU, maybe one of the best, if not the very best environment in all of college baseball. They have, I think, the most attendance. They're in, 10,000 plus for honestly like an average game.
Oh, yeah.
You can probably speak to more on this, but just maybe some perspective on a Mountaineers team, right, coming to Baton Rouge to play in that super regional. They, obviously not very familiar with that environment, but it's a Mountaineer team that hasn't been in a lot of these big games, and this is an LSU team that's been there, done that a lot.
Yeah.
What do you think it's like for the visiting team coming in and being welcomed to that crazy environment?
Alex Box is insane, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I've experienced it covering some games, and I'm talking like midweek games when it's cold on a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
And there's still a ton of people there. I mean, it's packed, and it seems like they're just right on top of you. Really, I've been in pretty much every dimension of the park so far, and man, they're loud, and I mean, the team gives them a reason to buy in and come in on those 50-degree nights in Louisiana, which are pretty cold. People down there not really used to that kind of weather, so. Yeah, it's an intense environment, I'm telling you.
I believe it. Just seeing it on TV, the fans are going crazy. They've got the I know in Omaha they do the Jello shots thing where they keep track of everybody. I feel like LSU, whenever then there's always at the top of that leaderboard.
I was going to say they're always way outpacing everyone else. I've seen those tweets or Instagram reels, where they show the videos of it, and they've got all the schools, and LSU is like thousands of Jello shots, whatever it may be, that they're selling on the board compared to all the other teams in Omaha. I think that's
they carry their weight.
That's one of my favorite moments of the college baseball season is seeing that post every season.
Yeah, it's a very unique thing, and it's just getting the fans into it is awesome. It gives them something to get into and compete about. So always love seeing that. And, college baseball in general, that Omaha World Series is so cool. And you've seen that a lot as an LSU fan. LSU is always a perennial powerhouse program. So, even just to see West Virginia play a team like that, go to an environment like that, obviously they didn't have a great showing. But just to see them play against a team like you guys, like LSU, was really cool. And hopefully they get back to them this year.
Yeah, it's been 2 years in a row, I think, for West Virginia.
Yeah,
so,
it's their highest preseason ranking in the Big 12. They were ranked third since they joined the Big 12 back. I think it was in 2012.
Yeah.
2013, over 10 years ago at this point.
Over a decade ago.
So, it's safe to say expectations are really at an all-time high, and Coach Steve Saban's in his second year has his team looking really good.
It was a great transition, too, because, after losing Coach Mazey, it could have been a tough transition for Saban's to come in, and he kind of hit the ground running and kept the program, and honestly has elevated it probably at this point, too. He kept what Mazey, finished with, which was a great run, and now he has transformed it into the standard for the blue and gold.
Right, yeah, he sure has. We can maybe switch to talk about Marshall a little bit in this Sun Belt, right? In basketball right now, they're just,
confusing.
Hoping to see them get it going. They're confusing us. In baseball, maybe a little bit of a different story. But they're opening up in Georgia. I remember last year, some of the biggest games we covered were the West Virginia Marshall games.
Right, yeah.
I think those are really cool. It's always a great rivalry to see whenever those two teams
bring it back in
get together.
Football.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, right. How have we not brought that back? Come on.
I can tell you why, but I don't want to say why because it might offend a lot of people.
Yeah, that's fair. Maybe
I was going to say so, not actually offend them, but West Virginia's scared to play Marshall because they're afraid to lose.
Yeah, that's fair. I was going to say Marshall might actually won this year.
Yeah, because there's no benefit to West Virginia playing.
No,
that game.
It's
at least in football, not even basketball. Baseball, it's baseball, not in a bad way, but not as many people, I feel like. Hey, now it's gotten way more bigger college baseball, so I think it's great because they're both very good, and I think it's more of an even game versus when you play football versus when you play basketball. Probably not going to be as even, but if Marshall does pull that upset, what's the talk of the state for the next year?
It's probably that.
Until they play again.
No, you're not wrong.
And if WVU wins the game, what does everyone say? Oh, they're bad team, Marshall. Or, oh, it's Marshall, small program.
Right, who cares?
They say whatever it is, who cares? That's kind of how they feel. So I just think that it doesn't benefit West Virginia to play that game, at least on the football field and basketball field, but they should play it.
No, they should.
I'm not saying they shouldn't. I think it would be a great game to have.
Oh, that's everyone wants to see.
Oh, yeah, it's what everyone wants to see, and it's something for the state to get behind and enjoy. Call it the Coal Bowl. I don't know. There you go. If you're listening out there, the state of West Virginia, whoever decides this, Mountaineers athletic directors, Ren Baker, and I'm not sure who's the athletic director over at Marshall, but the Coal Bowl, bring it back.
Come on now.
Revenue, I know that's what you guys are looking for.
Yeah.
Put it towards NIL
the days
funding.
Of NIL.
Put it towards NIL funding. The Coal Bowl will be a great game.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you brought that up because, this year, actually, West Virginia kind of in a similar situation went to Ohio.
Yeah.
And they lost to Ohio, a team in the MAC, another mid-major.
And it's not a good look.
No, it sure wasn't. It was
a game they didn't need to play, but they went and played a team that was local because they knew their fans could go to the game.
And they did travel well.
And it blew up in their face.
It really did. It was a disaster. And it was really the start kind of what was a really bad tumultuous first season under Rich Rod, so hopefully they can get that figured out. But that's something I would love to see. Is West Virginia Marshall. I'm sure everyone.
I didn't mean to get us off track
that.
from baseball here.
No, that's okay. But yeah, we can get back to talking more college baseball here. I know we started talking about Marshall. It was a decent year for them last year. I believe they did have a winning record. I want to say they beat West Virginia once.
They did, I do believe, yes. And I don't know if it was a series or just a game, but they definitely did take them down. I know in at least one game in a couple series, but don't know if they took an actual full series off that.
Yeah. Well, we can talk about getting into just opening weekend stuff here. Got 3 baseball guys here. I remember as a pitcher, I played Division III in Indiana, so kind of similar to West Virginia, obviously. We don't start at home. It's way too cold here. So just talking about the opening weekends, it's really cool to see them go play down south. They play different teams. They get to play guys not in their conference, not really close to them. And that's something that these northern Midwest teams have to go do is play in these warmer weather environments. They travel a lot. So that's really tough. And that's something that Marshall and West Virginia are both having to deal with. And just getting into that, I remember in Steve Saban's press conference earlier this week previewing the season, he mentioned that they drove I think 8 hours to Columbia, South Carolina, for an inter squad, literally just to go play themselves because it's so cold here and they just can't get outside. Yeah. So maybe what do you guys think about that? The strategy versus northern teams versus the South. How much of an advantage is it to be able to go outside in those months, December, January, February, versus teams like West Virginia and Marshall where they have to stay inside and batting cages, they can't get outside? Maybe what do you guys think about that, and how much of a disadvantage are these teams at?
I think it's definitely tough. Like you said, when it's so cold outside, you have to practice inside, mainly on turf, and then you travel to these teams. Like we said, like Alex Box, and the majority of these schools play on grass, so the hops are different. You got to adjust not only to playing on there, but just being in that different environment. Going from it's been here 16 degrees, going down to South Carolina, Alabama, places like that,
right?
Or it's in the 70s and 80s. Even. So it's a huge adjustment actually. So that's one of the things that that I think.
Yeah, definitely. And from personal experience, like you mentioned, we played. All of us played baseball at a point in our lives. I played during high school as well. We used to, during the springtime when spring season started for high school sports, we used to practice. We used to have 5 a.m. practices in our gym on our basketball court because the basketball team was still playing at that time because we had a pretty good team at our high school.
Oh, yeah.
So they would have priority after school. So we would have to get to school at 5:30 in the morning. We'd have batting practice. We had a batting cage in there, and basically we just did ground balls and steal situations, weird little minute things. We worked on bunting.
Yeah, we did a ton of PFPs as pitchers.
But you couldn't do shag fly ball. You couldn't shag fly balls. You could barely throw a bullpen from a flat surface. So it definitely is. It hinders. I would say it's a disadvantage for teams like West Virginia and Marshall, who probably haven't really been able to get out on the field based on the fact that the ice just melted 2 days ago or had started melting. So they're definitely at a disadvantage. Going down to the South, those teams I definitely think have an advantage to start the year because they've probably been practicing outside for a couple weeks. But when you get those indoor practices too, sometimes, like I said, there are those little things like those steal situations, getting good leads off your base. There are little small things that you probably don't work on when you're out on the actual field that maybe it makes you adjust and makes you work a little harder. So maybe look for some of those things with the Mountaineers and Marshall in the opening weekend and see maybe if they're a little bit sharper than their opponents on those kinds of things, because those could be, I'm not trying to say that they have the advantage having been indoors this entire time, because clearly driving 8 hours to South Carolina just to play against yourselves is not an advantage.
No,
but it could definitely be something that, yes, now they've gotten to the warm weather, they've probably gotten outside a couple days, gotten some practice in and have gotten comfortable with the conditions and the atmosphere for their opening weekend game. But it'll be an interesting one, I think, for sure, for both the Mountaineers and Marshall heading into opening weekend for college baseball.
Now, we've talked a lot of baseball. Jermaine, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Just growing up, watching sports, maybe live sporting events, give me one of your favorite memories just of watching or experiencing.
Any sporting event?
Any sport.
Oh, man, I got a couple of them, actually.
Okay.
I got a couple of them.
Give us them all.
Yeah. All right, so I would say the first one has to be, it's really specific, but October 31st, 2021, I think it was, Saints versus Buccaneers, when P.J. Williams picked off Tom Brady in that game. Yeah. And that's the game Jameis Winston tore his, I think it was his ACL in that game. Trevor Siemian comes in, wins the game for us. That was insane. That was sick. And me and you talked about it early a couple of days ago. Actually, I went to Game 5 of the 2023 LCS.
Right.
When Altuve ripped our hearts out.
Yeah,
so, and then we went to that. So I would say those two are pretty. Those are up there for me. I love those games, even though you know one of them didn't end that well.
Right.
Fair enough. Yeah, those are two great ones.
I would say sometimes even those moments where they don't end well, it's still just so memorable to be at something like that. Like I have multiple moments of those too. A couple sporting events that I've been to live, and it's just like. You remember them because they were painful, but it was an amazing experience still being there. Like you look back on it now.
Yeah, it was such a great game. Just so much back and forth, and the two in-state rivals, division rivals.
Right.
Yeah, man, benches clearing and everything in that game. It was sick. It was sick.
Yeah, that's awesome. And the last thing to close it out here, now that's been your first week. I know you're still new and you're still kind of learning the area, but just tell us how's the first week gone. Maybe some things you've learned about Parkersburg, the Mid-Ohio Valley. Just describe a little bit your experience so far this first week.
I've actually enjoyed it, and I'm a pretty keep to myself kind of person, but I have gotten out and just driven around a little bit. It is nice. A lot of snow, more snow than I've probably ever seen in my life.
I've never been to West Virginia before, and I didn't expect to see like almost any snow when I first moved here a couple years ago.
Just seeing snow piled, like basically just on the sides of the street, is something I've never seen before. But other than that, it's been enjoyable. Everybody I've bumped into so far has been super nice. I've really enjoyed working at WTAP so far. I'm excited for everything I get to do here. So it's been really cool.
That's great, man. Well,
it's certainly an exciting time of the sports season too for high school sports because we've got basketball,
no doubt,
state championships and stuff coming up. So it's going to be a busy time. So you came right at the right time.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Well, it's great perspective, and we look forward to obviously working with you and you keep doing stuff here and learning more and more. But good start so far, and appreciate you joining us today. And that's of course, that's going to do it. So thank you guys for joining us once again, and this is our 4th episode, I believe, if I'm counting correctly. So 4th episode. So thank you guys again for tuning in, and we will see you next time.